Welcome to Rip It Up. Every now and then, we see a certain house that stops us in our scroll and makes us want to completely redesign our own homes. In this series, we're picking 6 iconic homes, some that recently went viral and some that have stood the test of time. We'll be discussing design elements, colour palettes, items we love, things we would change, and breaking down how to recreate the look on a more realistic budget. This is Unpacking Iconic Homes.
Welcome back to the podcast. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Jen.
Second last, penultimate in our Unpacking Iconic Home series. You got loads of requests for this when you put in a shout out.
I'd say this is the second highest, maybe.
After, I think, Sophie Habu and Jamie Lang's house, which we did a few episodes ago. Go listen to it if you haven't already. I'm so excited to talk about this because it's Carrie Bradshaw's apartment in its many eras.
I'm most familiar with the original, although I watched everything else. I've kind of I don't know, they didn't land with me as much.
But we'll dive into her, like the OG apartment, the brownstone on the Upper East Side, where she sits and writes out the window and has all sorts of like romantic flings and breakups.
I feel like
heartbreak.
Sex and the City is a real I don't know, soft spot in my heart, because I didn't really watch it until almost like the end of college, I'd say, and we rented a place, me and 3 of the girls, for this summer after we finished college, and it was like none of us were kind of working full time, so like someone would be at home randomly watching reruns of Sex and the City. So even when I hear that intro music, you know, the I'm like, oh my God, it takes me back to that summer so much. So it's like, yeah, when I was looking at these photos again to record this, I was like, oh my God, I must watch that from the start again.
I can't believe how long ago it was. It doesn't even feel that old to me. I used to watch it in school, in secondary school. I remember my boyfriend at the time, he was the nicest man ever, boy. And I think he used to buy me the DVDs and like just really indulged which is very forward thinking of like for a 16 or 17-year-old back in like 99 or 2000, whatever it was. I don't know when.
I can't say I was ever into the apartment, but definitely into like the feeling the apartment gave, or that like New York life. Like everyone wanted to do that. And it was like, I don't know, it was just really like empowering or something. Like her having the apartment by herself in New York, it was just like, you were like, maybe I can just move to New York by myself and get one of these apartments.
Yeah. And definitely you couldn't. Like it just was not an option.
You couldn't.
No way. Like I know, and I know there were so many New York shows at the time that had completely unrealistic apartment expectations.
I know, yeah, that and Friends.
Yeah, that and Friends. But you're so right. Like there's nothing in the apartment except maybe the wardrobe. I love the way she had kind of a corridor walk-in wardrobe. And probably the desk. Like there was a lot to be said about that desk and the window. But you're so right. Like none of the rest of it was, you know, particularly beautiful.
Exceptional. But I think it was a really good way of looking at like renting an apartment and how you can make it your own, and how much personality and character she gave a house or an apartment there without owning it and without doing major decoration work.
Yeah.
You know, like as in it was all her stuff and it was all like bits she had collected through the years, and her personality was all over it. It was like, you know, her books and magazines and all her clothes and like photos up on the wall, and it was kind of a bit chaotic, but also, I don't know, just it was his personality, I think.
Yeah, there was a jumble of stuff, and you pointed this out when we were prepping for this, is that the walls were bright colours. And the same with the Friends apartment. Like I always remember the final episode, Joey being like, was it always purple? But the walls in Carrie's apartment, they're kind of pink, they're green. If anyone watched the movie, she did a whole redesign after she got left at the altar by Big, and it was blue. Like a really...
That was horrendous. Like I'm just going to gloss over that because it was so bad. It was so bad. But like the original, I think like it was her bedroom kind of lavendery bluish, maybe like even dock
like
blue or something like that.
I'll share out some photos.
It depends on the photos you look at online, because some photos reference it as like duck egg blue or robin egg blue or something like that, and then some are like pinkish lavendery. It depends on like the apartment or the picture you see. But
it's
like
the era.
I love that bedroom. Is so, I think everything in this apartment is so girly, even though it's not overtly like girly girl pink. It's just like everything is girlish, like the stuff, the different chairs and the bedside tables and all her magazines and all her stuff and all her makeup in the bathroom, and it was just like it was all her space, you know, and I think that's why people have such a soft spot for it.
There isn't a clear surface in this entire
No.
apartment. Like there's stacks of books, obviously magazines, she's a writer. There's stacks of like there's a shopping bag somewhere. There's definitely
Mm,
takeout cartons all over the place. There's a phone on top of a stack of books, on top of some clearly like thrifted chair,
yeah,
vintagey kind of chipped paint kind of peeling chair. There's shelves again, kind of groaning under the weight of stacks of books. And you're so right, it's all her personality. Nothing
yeah,
matches at all. Like there's such an eclectic
no.
collection of um one bedside locker uh on
Yeah,
one
like
side.
almost like a very kind of there's a few mid-century kind of pieces in this apartment, I think,
Yeah.
but it's very kind of functional. Just one, because that's all she needs. The bed's kind of nestled into a little alcove or kind of a step in the wall
Yeah.
where the shelves are built in. It's all born out of necessity, I think. Like
Yeah.
even the photos are like off center to the bed and the shelves are off on one side. It's just like bits as she needs them, but
Yeah.
there's still probably bits that all have a little story or where she picked them up or something. You know, they're not
There's a
ugly
lot.
pieces, any of them, but they're not
Yeah.
cohesive as a style.
There's a lot in reach from the bed, which again is kind of a
Mm,
lifestyle thing. When you're living in, like, she probably spends half her days, the bedroom is almost in the living room, which is in the kitchen. Like, it's not a very, I think
yeah.
it was supposed to be 600 square meters or square feet, which actually isn't, that's around about 60 square meters. Like, that's the size of my house. And I know my house is tiny, but it's not teeny tiny. Like, that's a pretty
Yeah.
big apartment,
Did you see some of
for a one
the
bedroom.
websites show a kind of floor plan layout of it? That it's almost
Yeah.
like a full circle
If you're
that you come
watching
in
on
one
YouTube, I
door.
have this up
Yeah.
on the on the screen. I found this on Reddit. Yeah, go on. So you're in
I
like
think I
the
just
main
think this is
door.
such a I've never seen an actual apartment laid out like this, but like a full you can do a full lap of the place, you know, in one door and out the other, which I think is quite cool. The walk-through closet and then the
Yeah,
kind of bathroom that's kind of double-sided. I love the idea of it, and it's a lovely idea for a one bed or a studio apartment, but it's still pretty generous, I would think, for
yeah,
a studio or a one bed apartment in New York.
yeah. It is. Now, there is no kind of separated bedroom. I guess she probably could have put
Mm,
curtains up there in between, like where her writing desk and kind
yeah.
of the living area is. As opposed to having the bed out on display the whole time. So I guess that's like a nod to the how small it is. I
Mm.
love the way they have the kitchen in the center there. That's a very clever way to do it.
And no
Because,
like dining table, which I think is really interesting.
yeah, but did she ever have one meal in that whole entire
Exactly.
time? Like
Like
everything was
I would,
out of a takeout
yeah,
carton.
I would say if anything in this apartment is not aspirational, it's the kitchen because it's kind of wrecked,
It's
it's kind of old,
rotten.
it's kind of
Yeah.
basic and like shitty kind of cooker and whatever. You know, it's like I think it's actually kind of whitish or off-white, is it? It shows
Yeah.
different color in different pictures, but um, I think it's just a nod to like I'm not cooking, I'm not like staying in the house, I'm getting dolled up and heading out.
There's a pretty
That's
full
why I think
wine
it's so good.
rack, and then there's all there's not great like fluorescent kind of lights under the countertop. You're right. The one thing I do like about it is it has that kind of traditional New York checkerboard floor.
Or yeah,
It's maybe not the best example of what I love in a checkerboard floor, but it's there. I don't even know
yeah,
if she has a microwave. Like she just never, like that kitchen was just superfluous to her needs. Like
absolutely,
it
yeah,
was there
absolutely,
to keep a bottle of wine cold and house her
yes.
takeaway. I love
Exactly.
it.
I love the entrance actually,
Hmm.
the kind of bookshelves, but they're actually I read somewhere they're full of magazines, not books.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I guess she writes for magazines,
Which
doesn't she?
yeah, but which is like a nod to like how many she must have,
Yeah.
thousands, literally thousands stacked up there. So stuff like that, nothing is for kind of display only purposes. They're actually all her stuff.
And I like that. I quite like a display of magazines. And that you're right,
Yeah.
as I look closely, her magazines are in little holders, like those kind of
Mm,
cardboard little holders with little labels on them. But overall, that look of a full length bookshelf in a entranceway, I just love
love
it.
it.
I really,
Love
really
it.
love that.
Yeah.
It's so nice
The
just
the
to go
f-
and
the
browse someone's
floors as well.
personality. Mm.
Like because they're
Wood,
dark
dark
wood,
wood floors.
dark wood shelving, but also dark wood floors. I think you can't really see it in this picture, but you can see it in some other ones that it's actually parquet, like herringbone parquet.
Ooh.
And I think that's pretty. That oh, don't go to the
The blue, I've gone too far. Yeah,
no too
original
far,
kind of wood, dark wood floors. Yeah,
which
yeah,
is fairly
beautiful.
standard for some of those old apartments and kind of brownstone buildings
Yeah.
and stuff, or it would have
You
been.
get
So I
pretty
think
good
that
bones,
adds
I
character by
suppose.
itself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. Um, one thing so all of this, right? I think if you are renting an apartment, which she was, is pretty achievable to the average renter. Now, we're not necessarily saying you might want to achieve this look yourself, but there's a lot to be said for like she, just going back to the walls for a second. Obviously, she's painted the walls, either green or this kind of powdery, pretty, robust blue in her revamp, or a kind of a pinky lavendery color in some other earlier episodes. And it's possible that you can't do that in your apartment if you're renting, but it's possible that you can. Like it's
Mm.
always worth getting in touch with your landlord, and seeing if they would be open to it or if they would be open to you doing it. You might have to paint it back to a neutral color before you move out. But if you're somewhere for the long haul, it's definitely worth checking because it makes such a big difference as opposed to just whatever like
Yeah.
white they've probably slapped up themselves.
And with the new rules now, aren't people, entitled to a 5 or 6 year
Yeah,
lease or something? So it might be
yeah,
the time to ask if you've just signed a new lease. But that
yeah,
apart, or that wardrobe, the walk-through wardrobe is interesting because that kind of dusty blue, it's almost like Farrenball Denims. I think we were talking about that, were we in Athena
yeah.
Caldron?
I love
Oh,
it. I love it so
is
much.
it like denims or railings? Probably not as dark
I
as
don't think it's
railings, but like
railings. I think it's teams.
it's
Yeah.
probably denims or something. Like, well, it's probably not denims because it was so long ago, but it's like denims.
Yeah.
So she's a bit of a trendsetter from that point of view.
Yeah, it's a beautiful kind of powdery, not, it's dark enough. It's kind of a grayish blue. I
Yeah,
love it. I think it's so fun. And that walk-in wardrobe, like how many times do we see her go in and go out and like try stuff on in that
yeah.
wardrobe? And it's just such a mess of like scarves and things like spilling out of drawers and handbags everywhere and like feather boas and sequins all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, but
And the
again,
color's
just
probably like unimportant here, isn't it? Like 'cause the clothes are front and center here, the clothes and the shoes.
they do, but they look good against it. So I kind of like it. I
Yeah,
think it's
they
a
do.
nice
They do.
enveloping, cocooning space to walk into.
Yeah.
Um, one thing I'm not seeing in this picture is a full-length mirror. I wonder did she have one? Because I don't see one anywhere in the apartment, and there's no way that Carrie Bradshaw did not have a full-length mirror.
That
Um,
doesn't even make sense.
no, it doesn't even make sense. But again, I just love it's a nod to the layout, and like I do think in Ireland, like to go back to that floor plan, you certainly would never have a corridor over walk-in wardrobe. And like to go back to that floor plan, it's a very clever, well laid out use of space because we just tend to shove
Yeah.
everything against walls, like the kitchen against a wall, couch against a wall, dining table against a wall, and then some mad long kind of entrance corridor that's not that useful. Um,
Mm.
and I don't know really what the takeaway is because you can't knock internal walls if you're renting your apartment.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe you can transform some spaces. Like maybe there's kind of a long unused corridor somewhere that you can, fill with freestanding clothing rails or freestanding bookshelves or something like that. Um, and just make what's otherwise
Bathroom.
kind of,
What
yeah,
what do you think about the bathroom here? Like because I
hokey.
think the bathroom is very classic New York. It's just metro tiles, trim tiles, and then just,
Hmm.
traditional kind of fittings, built-in bath. There's nothing kind of fancy about it. It's
No,
fine. It's again functional, kind of like the kitchen.
yeah,
But again, full of makeup and perfume or whatever, all out in display whenever you see it.
yeah, like a little trolley, a freestanding trolley
Mm,
thing, hair straighteners plugged in everywhere, which obviously we can't do here, but yeah. And a
yeah,
bath. And as we all know, I love a bath, but she
yeah.
certainly did as well. Um, yeah. But you're right. I mean, it's just full of stuff and character, and I don't know if that's necessarily recreatable by everyone because she clearly
No,
has style and loves, collecting beautiful things and spends a lot of time doing it. But there is a lot to be said for mixing and matching lots of different style pieces, lots of different eras, different finishes and colors, and kind of arranging them together for having your personality out on display. Like, okay, the kitchen aside, there's everything is open shelving, everything is out on display. Like her whole life, as a character, she really wears her heart in her sleeve, and I think that's very much conveyed in this apartment. And her whole life is out there, and that's really nice. Like, I really
yeah.
it makes me like it instantly, even if it's, not an apartment I remember for its interior design.
I think it's interesting because, like you said, it's her personality out on display.
Yeah.
It's not decoration as such. Like there's no horrible decor choices until they went to this blue. But like
Yes.
the original, I don't like. There's a nice chaise. There's that gorgeous leather chair, the Aiden chair that was there even after they broke
Oh
up. And then
yeah.
there's the lovely mid-century bedside table. There's a
Yeah.
lovely bench at the foot of the bed. I read somewhere that the purple bedding is actually like Calvin Klein or something. So like it is like some nice pieces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's like you said, it's just her personality overlaid on all of that makes
Yeah.
it kind of come alive. And that's what I think like people shouldn't be afraid to do, especially if they're renting. Their stuff is the decor here if they don't want
Yeah.
to be, spending on someone else's apartment.
Yeah, your stuff, shelving, freestanding, nice like not don't just go straight to IKEA. Like, spend a bit of time just looking around for bits that you like and don't worry about them all matching too much.
Mm,
I think another massive feature here, it's not a bright apartment, but the window features so heavily and she always has her
yeah.
desk up against the window and she's writing against that desk. And like that is iconic. Like that, I think that
Yeah.
spoke to so many people. Um, of sitting and looking out at New York. And I love that. I'm actually currently sitting at a desk that's pushed up against a window, and I wonder have I still been influenced by Sex and the City after all these years, potentially. Most likely, I would say. Um,
We
but
talk
how
about the
lovely.
rugs. What about the
Yeah,
rugs? Like, okay, so this blue one, I just have to discard it from my memory because it's actually like offensively ugly, the rebrand. And then she went back again, didn't she, to the original kind of
yeah,
style, more or less. But I
yeah,
think the rug in her kind of original bedroom is quite different. It's almost like tribal kind of Aztec-y kind of print or something or pattern in it.
yeah.
Like a stripe, but it's very different to everything else. Again, it looks like something she just found or got for cheap
Hmm.
or was there or something like it. It doesn't seem like it matches with anything else, but for
Yeah.
some weird reason, it still kind of works.
Yeah, it does. It all works. Yeah, the patterns all do work. I want to talk about the revamp for a minute because in the first movie, after she gets left at the altar, or she thinks she gets left at the altar by Big, spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, um, the she hires an interior designer. She dyes her hair brown, and she does all the classic, heartbreak things, and she gets the apartment completely redone, and it's painted in this blue, which I'm looking at photos here that I got from House and Home magazine, and I don't love the blue, but I remember loving it in at the time. That it was such a cool blue, but I hate it now that I see it again. But her personality is gone. Like all the pictures on the wall have now been organized into this gallery wall. All the stacks of magazines
Mm,
are gone. The books are all gone. The phone on the bed is gone. Anything higgledy-piggledy has been replaced by kind of a more cohesive chrome and whatever stylish kind of bits of furniture. There's like a TV now and all, everything is looking really bland. The rug is
yeah.
one of the most horrible things I've ever seen in real life. Even though I know that that is a very expensive designer rug. And I hate it. I hate it so much now that I see it again. Like there's just no personality there.
Disgusting. Like it might have been like a bit of a higgledy-piggledy design to begin with, but this is like
Matchy,
so all over
matchy,
the place. It's
bland,
disgusting.
shiny, flat pack finish and everything. Like it's just, ugh, not for me.
No. Now, what about if you kept watching and onto the TV show after all the movies and stuff and just like that? Like I
Yeah,
can't say I loved the show. I watched it to the end, but like I have to say I loved her apartment with Big.
it was
Very
amazing.
mature and like, I don't know, polished compared to her first one, which is kind of a reflection of their life together, maybe.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Apparently, it had 16 rooms, five
Oh,
bedrooms,
Jesus.
five bathrooms, two powder rooms. Obviously the most famous walk-in closet where her Manolo Blahnik shoes are left that reunites her big. All these views, this kind of central garden space. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and apparently it's real. Apparently it was shot at 1010 Fifth Avenue, but the interior scenes is the William Ziegler mansion at East 63rd Street on the Upper East Side. So apparently it's real and the apartment is still, it exists. It's a real thing, which is pretty phenomenal.
Very expensive, no
Yeah,
doubt.
pretty bloody expensive. But I loved it. I loved there was so much paneling going on in that apartment. There was so much, cornicing and architraves and like a lot of um, depth and texture all over the
Yeah,
walls. The
yeah.
closet was amazing. The central, whatever, roof garden thing was phenomenal. And it was still somehow really cozy and warm, you know?
Yeah, it was all the brown and everything. I just thought it was
Yeah.
so nice. It was so nice. It was definitely an apartment that I'd consider having an apartment for rather than a house. So I just thought it was so nice.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, but then moving on to her Gramercy. Oh, the
Well, in the
Tribeca
meantime, she
loft.
had this
Oh my
Tribeca
God, that was
loft.
horrendous. No,
It's
no,
horrendous. It's just
not for
they're all
me.
white.
No,
I'm just going to brush right past it.
no,
But yeah,
like,
then she
but the
moves in with
Gramercy
Aidan.
Park townhouse. Oh my God, like that house is to die for, no?
She moves in with Aidan. Yeah, Aidan, right? Yeah. Who, ugh, he just gives
But
me the ick so
she's on
bad.
her own for a while, right?
Yeah,
Before she gets back with Aiden. But oh my
yeah.
God, this house is unbelievable.
And she gets this house. He's got all these kids and his sons, and it's a big family. But I read a really interesting thing in El Decor that it was really very intentionally designed. Obviously, all of these apartments are incredibly intentionally designed, and as we said, they really reflect her personality and what she's going through at the time. Um, and this one in particular, the goal was to make her feel really small, really insignificant. Um, the showrunner Michael Patrick King described it as the production designer Miguel Lopez Castillo described it as a dollhouse that's too big. It had all these, original um, features, kind of oven and kitchen, and not necessarily old fashioned, but nothing modern and empowering at all. And it was very much designed to make her feel swamped, insignificant, a little bit powerless. I just think that's really clever. Really,
Yeah,
really clever. Yeah.
yeah. It was a beautiful house, but like for one person knocking around doesn't make a massive amount of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would take it. Don't get me wrong. If I was taking anything,
Would
I'd probably.
absolutely
No,
take
I
it.
I think I'm with you. If I was taking anything, I'd take the apartment she had with Big. Although there's always
Yeah.
going to be a pretty significant part of me that would live in her original apartment, happily ever after.
Well, if I'm on my own, yeah, if I was on my own, I probably would.
As a writer, which I am.
I don't want to be maintaining something with 16 rooms if I'm living on my
No,
own.
oh my God, the stress of it. Are you kidding me? I would
And
hate
then
that
going to
rattling
bed every
around.
night, checking every room, checking every window's closed. No, no
No,
thanks.
no, I would not. No, it's just not for me.
Yeah,
Um, so that's it. I mean, I love them all. But
yeah.
for me, it's her original apartment. The steps of the apartment, the window
Hmm.
where she's writing, where she's smoking, where she's shouting at various boyfriends or down to her friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it's just so iconic. I would live there.
Yeah. And I think what we can take away from this is it's a feeling rather than the decor here. Like, and the feeling
Yeah.
is her personality coming through in spades, like across that whole apartment. And
Yeah.
part of that, like, personality is like, I don't cook and fuck it. I don't need
Yeah.
a
Not
kitchen.
going to
Why do I
pretend
need
that
a
I do.
dining table? I'm not going to eat here. I'm not going to, And I love that, like that kind of certainty of that apartment, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely love it as well. It's
Mm.
all personality, and there's a huge lesson to be learned from that.
I feel like I want to go back and watch them all again now from the get-go. Not the
I
movies really, but just the show.
When I was living in London years ago, there was this salon, I think is it the Cowshed? And you would sit and they just had TVs everywhere that played Sex and the City on repeat. And it's the only place I ever went to get my nails done because I just go for a bit of escapism.
We'll put some of the detail maybe in the show notes and how
Yeah.
you can create it if you want to try and guess those colors and finishes and stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to hear if you know what the colors are, if you've yeah.
And then just go thrifting for the rest of the furniture.
That's the key, isn't it? Just collect stuff, go thrifting, like pick up stuff that you really like that speaks to you. Don't worry too much about whether it goes. Try it out, leave it out for
Yeah.
somebody to collect if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
That's the lesson. Okay,
And that's it.
we'll see.
Okay,
And,
we'll talk
and
to you
just
next
like
week.
that, we'll see you next week.
Just like that. Bye.
If you enjoyed that episode, likes, shares, and subscribes really help us out. So if you can, please do. Thank you.